Hey everybody, it's Mr. Shelton. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to talk to you about the ACT test today, and specifically about the science test. So real quick, what I really like about this little passage that you're seeing here is it says if you like science, this section is going to be really easy for you. And then they follow it up with, and if you don't like science, this section will be really easy for you too. Because here's what you need to know. You don't need to have to memorize anything from biology, chemistry, ecology, geology, physics, or any other science course for the ACT science section. Really, what it does, the ACT science section tests your ability to read tables and graphs. And in the next 7 minutes, that's what you and I are going to do. We're going to go over some graph reading and table reading tips. Here we go. So when you're taking the ACT test, the super most common science question that you'll find asks you to find a value or a fact from tables or graphs. The coolest thing is about taking the ACT science test is that usually the question tells you exactly which table or graph to look back at. So in the next minute, we're going to take a couple sample problems and see how we do. Okay, stick with me here. So the ACT does this other thing in that they use kind of big words sometimes. Now, here's the thing. You might know what the word concentration means. I hope you do. You might know what the word effusion means, and that's okay too. But when you're taking this test, if you ever come across a word that you're not sure what it means, do not freak out. What we want you to do first is take a look at what they're asking you to look at. First off, there's time. Second off, there's a percent concentration, right? So we have time and concentration. Let's read what it says. In experiment 1, the effusion time, I don't care what that is, but if you know, good for you, of the gas was the time required for the gas to reach 20% concentration in region 2. The effusion time for the gas was. So what we have to figure out is, what is the time for the gas to reach a 20% concentration? Well, that's going to fall somewhere in here. If we look down at our choices, they're kind of silly, right? Greater than 15 seconds? Well, no way. That's all the way up to 43%. We don't need that. Between 12 and 15 seconds? No, because that's 32 to 44. We don't need that one. Between 9 and 12 seconds? Well, between 9 and 12 is somewhere between 30 and 32. No, we don't need that one. Remember, we're after 20, so our last answer that has to be correct is less than 9 seconds. So the answer to this question is F. If you just slow down a little bit and look at what the question is asking you, don't get freaked out about what the vocabulary is. You're going to do a good job on this test. Remember what we said in the beginning. If you like science, you're going to do great on the science portion, and if you don't like science, keeping in mind what I'm telling you here, you're still going to do okay on the science part of the ACT. So at this point, I want your teacher to pass out 2 sample problems. I want you to do 2 things for me. First, read the graph labels. And second, read the questions slowly and really look what they are asking you. Good luck. Okay, I'm going to do this really fast. Mr. Withers tells me I'm too long-winded, so here goes. If we look at this graph, right, we need weight and we need depth. Alright, according to figure 1, a rabbit footprint found 6/10 centimeters deep in wet loam soil would indicate that a rabbit weighed which of the following? Hey kids, do you know what wet loam soil is? Doesn't matter. Let's just see what it says. 0.6 was our number. If we go up to 0.6 and we come across, our rabbit weighs, hopefully you said C, 4.5 pounds. Don't get lost in the vocabulary. Alright guys, this was your second problem. So the first thing I would like for you to do is just look at the chart, right? So what I'm looking at is I'm looking at heat retention, I'm looking at linear expansion in millimeters. I have 4 different materials, rayon, wool, vinyl, and fiberglass. It looks like I'm measuring in percentages and again, millimeters. Alright, so we have a general idea here. Question says, based on the results of experiment 2, if an engineer needs an insulation that retains over 90% heat, Which of the following should she choose? And then you have a list of the 4 options. Well, they're asking us for a material that retains over 90% heat. I don't need to know what rayon or wool or vinyl is. It doesn't ask anything about linear expansion, right? Even if it did, I don't need to know, I just need to see the numbers. So let's take a look. Over 90% heat. Well, rayon is 71%, so that's not it. Wool is 82%, that's not it. Vinyl is 89%, that's not it. I'm left with fiberglass at 92%. That is the only option above 90%. So hopefully you answered letter J, fiberglass. I know what some of you were thinking. Mr. Shelton, didn't we have him once? Didn't he teach us about, earthquakes and weather? Yeah, I did. But you know what? You have a big test coming up, and one of the biggest misconceptions is that you can't take the ACT science test because you're not a good science student. Well, guess what, kids? I'm here to tell you, you don't need to be a good science student to do well on the ACT science test. You just need to slow down, and you need to take your time and read the tables and read the graphs. And if you do that, it's going to help you pass this test and get a better score. All right, that's what I got for this week. I hope I didn't talk too long. Good luck, everybody. I'll talk to you later.